On today's episode, we sit down with Tonya Surman, CEO of the Center for Social Innovation, a pioneering co-working space with a mission to catalyze social innovation around the world. CSI currently boasts 3 locations in Toronto, and last year opened its first location in New York City. So, you're celebrating your 10th year anniversary of Center for Social Innovation.
Yeah.
Let's take a step back 10 years ago. I want to start at the very beginning, how it all started. What was the vision of CSI, and where did it come about? And
how did it all begin? And so 10 years ago, there were a small group of us, about 5 of us, who came together around this simple question of how might we share? And we were inspired and engaged around these ideas around, if we were to put organizations together from arts and environment and social justice, and we started with the simple sharing of a photocopier, fax machine, meeting room, what might happen in terms of the social capital and the collaboration that might emerge? Because at that time, there were silos. Social services was this, and anti-racism was this, and environment was this, and so there wasn't a lot of talk around what binds us.
And so, in 10 years' time, you now have 4 spaces.
We have 4 locations.
Tell us, was that always part of the vision? And tell us how it sort of evolved in that way. What happened there?
A vision. Was there a plan? I can honestly say that in 10 years of history, we've never written a business plan. Ever. And in fact, only at our 10-year mark, I think we're now finally ready to sort of state an intention. And only this year. We really brought a genuine spirit of experimentation. And, in the real estate business or the property management business, to pivot is not as quick and easy as it might be with technology. But in a sense, I think we were pivoting. We were leaders and pioneers of co-working. We were pioneers in this field of social innovation and social entrepreneurship. We were pushing the boundary around collaboration and around community building, and we were learning. Learning and learning and learning. And I don't think we really knew what CSI was. I think we're still learning. I think we're still learning. And I think what happens is, as an entrepreneur, you have incredible creative freedom in the early days. But then over that 10 years, the ability, you then have to negotiate with what it is. And there's this interesting process of listening and trying to understand who is the Center for Social Innovation. How do I enable, frame, how do I bring new? And so your influence as the entrepreneur, it decreases over time as the project itself discovers what it wants to be and who it wants to be.
So you sort of let it organically define itself.
Yeah, we tried a lot, and we experimented a ton. And what was really interesting is to watch what got traction and what didn't get traction. And, when you're in the social sector, in the social enterprise sector, you're on the bleeding edge. Other people will understand. So often we think they should buy our product because, of course, that's what would be good for the planet or for people. But just because we think that doesn't mean that the world is ready for that.
That sort of brings me to the next question. The challenges, the biggest, what keeps you up at night?
Different things keep me up at different times. When we were opening up our location in New York, becoming probably the world's smallest multinational, we had a really hard time financially pulling it off. It put a lot of stress on us, and so cash flow kept me up at night. Alignment keeps me up at night. How do you we've grown from, we opened 3 locations in 3 years. We went from 9 to 42 staff in that same time. Learning how to hold the alignment across a whole organization that operates in 4 different sites in 2 different cities is no easy challenge. We're trying to really become very clear about what our unique value proposition is, and lean into our strengths, and we're really embracing the next 10 years are about partnership and about how we support and nurture and build a movement for social innovation.
And actually, that was one other question I wanted to ask you about the movement itself. I mean, you've watched the evolution of this movement over the years. You've seen people come into your building, more and more people, wanting to share, wanting to collaborate, wanting to grow, wanting to gain insight. What do you see are the biggest challenges right now facing, in your opinion, this social innovation, social enterprise movement, whether in Canada or US? What would you see as the biggest obstacles in it?
Well, first of all, let's talk about what's amazing. Let's
okay.
talk about what's amazing.
Yeah.
What's amazing is that it's working. Like, we're talking about social innovation. We're talking about market transformation. We're talking about things like social finance and social enterprise. We're talking about a marriage between markets and mission that 20 years ago was unheard of. So let us just
absolutely
take a moment to recognize incredible progress. And what that represents is that there's this incredible zeitgeist of energy that wants to be a part of the solution. But now, what are the risks? The risks are when you've got a wholesale excitement and zeitgeist and movement about people being a part of the solution, one of the questions is there any there? Where's the impact? How do we know whether it's good or it's not good? The best intentions do not necessarily change the world. And so one of the interesting challenges is, how do we convert this incredible energy and enthusiasm for impact into actual impact? And how do we create the business models which will support the robust communities that are entering this space, these young idealistic MBAs who are bringing their business acumen to groups, and then they're confronted with like really, really hard, challenging issues. And it's hard work. And a lot of these business models don't work. They do need to be subsidized, and they are broken. And so this is really, I think the next 10 or longer are going to be grappling with the conversion of energy and enthusiasm into impact. And it's not easy work. This field it looks good on the surface and people are talking, but the question is, are they actually doing it?
I'm looking around at the bricks that surround your office here. Can you tell us about what those bricks symbolize and what this building itself symbolizes, how it's unique, how uniquely came about?
Yeah. So, 2004 we started, 2007 we expanded, and in 2010 we did the unthinkable. We bought a building. And if you're in the property business, one of the questions is, how do you actually build community wealth? How do we not be beholden to the lease rates, which are controlled by somebody else? How do we build infrastructure to support the community that we serve? But it was a pretty crazy idea at the time, and we're a little nonprofit organization. We have like 6 staff, maybe, and maybe 5, and we have the crazy audacity to think that we can just buy a building. The city was critical to our success, because once we were able to get that loan guarantee, we were then able to go back to the banks and the credit unions. We ended up getting our mortgage from Alternative Credit Union. And it made the deal possible, but we were still confronted with this reality of having to raise $2 million of our own capital. Right. And so from the very get-go, I was like, well, we have community. We should get our community to invest. And we co-created this concept of a community bond. We proceeded to raise $1.4 million in under 4 months, and then the subsequent $2 million by the end of the next RRSP season, created this community bond. We were really pushing the boundaries and developing new models to prove that citizen capital, that people really could be a part of the solution. And it's been amazing. Every brick represents a person who is willing to take a risk on us to try something new, and they inspire me.
It's amazing. That's really wonderful. Talk about a proud moment.
Yeah.
Is that one of your proudest moments?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's so many. There's so many. The community bond was incredible. Just opening the doors 10 years ago was incredible. Yeah. It was happening in under 5 months. It was crazy how fast. Opening up in New York and taking that leap huge. But now increasingly, what makes me most proud is my team, is watching the way that the team has really galvanized around the values and culture that is CSI, and watching as they make the decisions that I would have otherwise made, and being both terrified and ecstatic at the same time. And then watching, just as I was walking in, one of our members came to me and he had this giant smile on his face. He says, Tonya, it worked. This 16-year-old just did a video and made a case to the city of Vancouver to put warning labels onto gas pumps about climate change, and they agreed. And he had this incredible energy and life. And I was like, that makes me proud. That makes me proud. A little teary.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For sharing.